Hello, my friend. I'm excited to meet with you today and give you some tips on how to get your next goal. And I'm actually really thinking about the goal that you've been trying to get for a long time, and it's been elusive. Like it's been almost feels like it's been impossible to get. The goal that you're not really sure why you haven't gotten it yet. The goal that feels like it's maybe bigger than you, or you don't really know all the steps. Maybe you're confused about what's required to get it, or you think it's just too hard to get it. That goal. Okay. So hopefully you've already had an idea or two of what goal this is for you that meets that description. I know that I can easily think of one or two that fit that description for me. And all of us have goals. Doesn't matter how many goals we have achieved, we all have an upper level goal. So a lot of times when people go to get a goal, like if they have a goal in mind, they go right into action steps. They say, okay, what do I need to do to get this goal? And I'm all about the action steps. However, I'm going to share with you some, excuse me, my phone, I forgot to put it on silent. There are a few steps for you to take before you get to the action part. So I'm going to share those with you today with a couple of examples that will help shine a light on how you can do this in your own life. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture. So one of my mentors, his name was Kirk Duncan, he drew a lot of pictures. And so I'm inspired by him. And so my pictures sometimes resemble what I saw him teach me. Okay, so I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. It's Pictionary art. Okay. All right. This is you. This is us. Okay. The first thing that we need to think about when going for a goal is to think about that we have 4 functions of the brain that are really key in locking in to get our goal. Because when we're trying to get a goal, it's brand new for us. And our body doesn't necessarily desire change. And so sometimes we can get some resistance from our body, resistance from our mind, from the programs in our mind that say, that's too big for us. We've never had something like that before. We've never done anything like that. I'm not sure that's possible. You'll have a lot of pushback if it's especially a goal that that you really desire to have that feels big. You're going to get a lot of pushback from your mind and your body. Your mind wants to keep you safe. Your body wants to keep you comfortable. So between those, if you work against them, it's going to be a lot of hustle and struggle to get your goal if you get it. However, if you work with the functions of your brain, which includes your body, because your brain is in charge of your body, then you can work with yourself to get your goals. It will be a lot more of a smooth experience and one where you watch it unfold. It's pretty magical to watch. So I'm going to show you what these steps are and show you how I've used them and give you ideas of how you can use them for yourself. The first step, or the first function of the brain that we're going to talk about today, is see. It's what we see. If you can see it, you can do it. If you can point your brain in a direction, then you can go there. Like if you have a goal to get an apple, like say you're in the office like me, and you just decide, you know what, I want an apple. Well, you immediately think of, where is that apple right now in your kitchen? Well, we keep our apples in the fridge. So I know where our apples are. I know that I have to walk out the office and across the house over to the kitchen, and I know where the fridge is. I have to open the fridge, see where the where the apples are in one of the chiller drawers, open the drawer and grab an apple. Like when I think about getting an apple, my brain immediately goes through all those steps in an instant. It knows exactly what is required to get that apple, and it sees it as a tiny little video in my mind. So that is what I'm going to train you a little bit on right now, is creating a little video clip in your mind about you getting your goal. And keep in mind, this is not necessarily you on the journey to get your goal, because we don't always know all the steps we're going to take. And so sometimes we get hung up on that and we say, well, I don't know how I know a couple of the steps, but I don't know all the things I'm going to have to do to get my goal. That's right. We don't. Usually we take a couple steps forward and then the way appears. And then we take a couple more steps forward and the way is illuminated, and a couple more steps and the way is illuminated. And we see little by little, line upon line, where we're going to get this goal. So what we do here is we imagine ourselves, we run the video clip in our mind of actually having the goal. So this is a video clip that has 0 scratches in it. So you might have, like, if you remember what DVDs are, DVDs, if they get a scratch, then it'll freeze and it'll go boop, and it'll skip over a couple minutes and skip over a couple more minutes. And so a lot of people, when they go for a goal, they don't necessarily see a lot of detail about getting their goal. They haven't really done that internal work to know what that is. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here. When you get your goal, what does it look like? Do you see it in color, or is it in black and white? Are there people with you, or are you by yourself? Are you outside, or are you inside, like in a building or in your home? Where are you? What's the temperature outside? What season is it? Do you know what season it is? If it's, is it loud or is it quiet? What is the scenery like around you? What do you see? Are there any smells associated with this goal, with getting this goal? Do you smell anything in particular? Maybe based on wherever you are. So thinking about what your movie clip looks like, you want to shoot for a movie clip that's 10 seconds to 20 seconds long. Now that doesn't sound like it's very long, but when you're creating something by creating something from scratch, you're creating something that hasn't happened yet in your mind, which that's how all things were created. They're created first in someone's mind before they're created physically. So you're doing this imaginary imagery work, and it is work, it's effort in your mind. That 10 seconds or 20 seconds might actually feel longer than it actually is. So think about what that looks like, you getting your goal. What are you doing? Are you sitting, or are you doing something? Are you standing? Are you walking? Are you looking at something? What is it that you're doing? What is your body doing? And how do you feel in your body? Okay. So all of the things that come with a movie clip. Is there background music? Sometimes I like to put background music in my videos. And this sweeping, dramatic, beautiful music. You think of Star Wars music, or like from Avatar, or, some dramatic, beautiful music. Do you have music in the background? Okay. So this is the first step, is seeing it. Okay. The next one is what you say about it. I am surprised at how many people will go to great lengths to create a video in their mind, and they've got it all nice and clear. And then they talk about it like they have doubts about it. They're like, oh, this is actually going to be really hard. Or I just don't know if I can get this. Like, it's a great idea and I have it crystal clear in my mind, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. So they undermine themselves with what they say. Our words are powerful. They create and they also destroy. They can create you can build a person or destroy a person, or you can build yourself or destroy yourself with words. You can build a goal or destroy a goal with words. Words are, however, though they are the building block of creation. Everything is based on words. The words are the ideas of what you see. That's how you describe what you see. As you are seeing things in your mind, you haven't yet possibly said them out loud. So when you go to describe what you see, what are the words that you're saying? Are you saying powerful words? Are you saying affirmative words? Are you saying how excited you are? Are you saying how you feel inside? Are you saying how gratifying and fulfilling it's going to be getting this goal? What are you saying about it? When you, so I'm going to give you an example of this. So what I do, for an example, is I write what's called a new story. And I'm going to have a training in here soon, an in-depth training about writing a news story. I'm going to tell you a story about one of my news stories. I've done a whole bunch of these. So a news story, basically what a news story is writing in words what you see of your goal being. So I was pregnant with Beckett. Beckett is our dessert. She came 7 years after our first 4. And she was unexpected and a joy after I got my wits together. Okay. Before I got my wits together, I was in denial. I was wondering how I was going to do this. I've got amazing, beautiful titanium rods in my back, and they make pregnancy and especially delivery kind of a scary experience, a very spiritual experience, very intense experience, and a faith promoting experience every time, especially for our first 4. And also our first 4 babies were all colicky. They had a hard time digesting any kind of milk. And so, and I didn't produce any milk. So it was always a confusing, hard, stressful time with a screaming baby for the first 10 months of their life. Newbornness was not a happy time for me. It was a get through it and be afraid to leave the house and not fun and not loving that I couldn't help my baby who was always in pain. And that's how the first 4 were. So I'm thinking I'm pregnant unexpectedly and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that again. And thinking, how am I going to do this again? We were building this home at the same time, and my business was taking off. This was in 2016. And so I'm thinking, I need some help. Well, this little thought came into my mind that says, Shelley, write a new story about it. You've done this before, write a new story. And whatever you write, it will be so. And I'm like, really? Really? Okay. So I wrote down, I typed it actually, and I tweaked it until it was just right. I actually took a few days to write out this new story. And one of the things in my new story was that my babies could burp. And that sounds kind of funny, but my babies didn't burp. And so I would be doing I would rub their back and pound their back and lift them up and down for hours in the middle of the night, middle of it all day. It was very tiring. It was very emotional because I couldn't help them. And screaming babies it's hard. It's hard to have a screaming baby. It's hard on both of you. And so, so my youngest sister's babies, when she would feed them, she would just sit them up and they would burp on their own. They would burp by themselves. And I would look at that and say, what? How in the world do they do that? I have never seen that before. I've never experienced that. My babies never did that ever. And believe me, we had tried everything, right? And all kinds of stuff to do. So I wrote that in my new story. Well, the day after I get home from the hospital or the birthing center, my mom comes over and she starts pounding on Beckett's back because that's what we had to do with all of the other babies. And I said, wait, Mom, watch this. And so I said, lay her back down and then just sit her up super, super slow. And so she did. She just lifted her up, or just raised her, sat her up super, super slow. And she burped. And she looked at me like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. So, and everything else that happened with that came to pass. So, she's been sweet. The kids loved her. Just all the things that I wrote down in my story were very specific and they all came to pass. And that was a very moving new story for me because there was just so much at stake. And I've done this for a lot of different things for my kids, for like people in my stewardship, and my business and other things. So that is your words are powerful, what you say. Okay. The next one is how you feel. So this is a heart. What you say and what you see, those things, they produce feelings. Now, feelings is how we make all of our decisions. We just do. We might say, oh, well, I think about my decisions. We do, yes. But we have a feeling that comes with every thought that we have. And feelings are the fuel. That is what that's what motivates us to move forward, even when we have doubts, even when we have things come up. Those feelings that come when we play in our mind the video and we say the things to ourselves, those feelings actually propel us forward. Okay. The very last one, that's our solar plexus chakra. That's where it's our seat of our power. That is where we act. When we have this firm in our mind and we are feeling it, we will often be encouraged to take steps forward naturally. We'll say, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. And its actions become a more natural extension of our body, a natural extension of who we are, because we already have it in our mind. When we are feeling this, the more we feel this and the more we do this exercise of seeing and saying, it starts to feel like it's already happening right now. It starts to feel like it's true today. It feels like it's already happened. It feels like you already have it. Whatever it is, you're already experiencing it, the joy of it. And so that actually helps you act. So that's my cue because my dog is barking. My little one just came home. So I hope you can work with these functions of the brain to help you in getting your goals. All right, take care.